this week's episode of Meet Me Moncton, I am so excited to introduce you to somebody I met today, one of my newest Moncton friends. This incredible human has been known to me for some time for her work I've seen all over social media. She is a recipient of the Order of Moncton. She is a recipient of the Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Education. And she is a wonderful Monctonian. Everybody welcome the wonderful Krista Richard! Krista, you don't know this, but my family are Richards. This is my father who's a Richard, my sister who's a Richard, my grandparents who are Richards.
Lower Lewisville?
No, Dieppe.
Oh, Dieppe.
By way of Minto. Yes. But yeah, so there you go.
Full disclosure, I have an absolute fear of doing these things, public speaking, but all she had to do was, but it's for the kids. So that's why I'm here, because
that's my trick.
I'm going to be like, drinking, so.
Drink your water and settle in. We're among friends, all of my friends and family. Everybody here is totally rooting for you and can't wait to hear about what you do. So your shirt says Community Sports Program. I love to open with a question. How do you describe what you do?
What happened was I taught for 36 years, and I've always run an after-school program. And it's always been in communities where the kids couldn't get to the big cities. Like I taught in Devon, Alberta, which is a small little oil town. So the kids, if they wanted to play anything, had to go to Edmonton. Then I moved to the Miramichi, Sunny Corner, which is same thing. If they wanted to do anything, they had to drive to Newcastle or Chatham. I moved back here, and for 18 years it was at Forest Glen, which is a low-income area. You have Beechwood, you have Auburn Circle. And I just found the need. Like the kids just want to play, but if you don't have a car, if you don't have the money, there was nothing for them. So I said I was going to start a program where everyone could play. It wasn't 60 kids try out, 12 make the team, and then all the others, nothing to do. So I've been doing that for 36 years. When I retired, it was the same thing. It's like, okay, I have this time. I want to give it in two areas, kids and seniors, the two most vulnerable groups in society. And I wanted to keep doing it in the Lewisville area, Sunnybray, Beechwood, Auburn Circle. So I said, okay, I'll start with the community sports program. At night, I said, okay, a couple of hours a night, once or twice a week, no problem. So the first year, I had 89 kids, and we went 90 minutes a night for 3 nights. So I said, okay, I can handle that. Last year, I had 212 kids, 5 nights a week for 3 hours a week, or 3 hours a night. And the first time was soccer. Last year I added ball hockey, basketball. This year I'm hoping to add volleyball. And it's a free program. It's for everyone. I do it out of Forest Glen because I can get the kids from Auburn Circle, Beechwood, Ackman Court. I'm starting a second program at the Boys and Girls Club, and that'll get my Beaverbrook, St. Audie, Queenie, Edith Cavell, Birchmount kids. Because what happened last year, it was only out of Forest Glen, and I had so many parents from Beaverbrook say, my kid wants to play, I can't get to Forest Glen. Transportation. Yeah. So over the summer, the Boys and Girls Club said, well, why don't you move the program here? I said, I can't do that to the kids that I've had for 20 years. So I said, let's compromise. I'll go 3 nights a week, Forest Glen, and Thursday, Fridays at Moncton Boys and Girls Club. So I have no clue what the numbers are going to be this year because registration starts next week.
So the reason we started tonight at 7 was I wanted to make sure that we had a lot of time to interview all of our guests because Krista was doing something before this. And can you tell everybody what you were doing before you came here?
Well, that's why I'm dressed like this, because I'm usually known for my fashion. But this was it. At the community, it's called the Community Hub. It's right behind the Beechwood Community Center. And they were doing Bless the Backpacks. So I had a couple of people message me, say, look, do you know a couple of kids who need school supplies? I said, well, yeah, I can always find someone. So I just said, I put it out on Facebook, and I had 2 carloads of school supplies. So what I did tonight, I went to the community hub. I just opened up my trunk, and the kids just came. There was book bags, there was calculators, binders, lunch bags, pencils, everything, and they just took whatever they needed. The parents came. So I have, I think, 20 binders left out of that. Like, it was just, as soon as you say free, because there was also free ice cream there, so as soon as you say free, it was like,
the combo.
yeah, yeah. And it was so good because I saw all the kids that I know. You know, and I saw the parents and made that connection because I'm not teaching anymore. I've retired 2 years now, and it's just to be able to see those kids all the time. And that's what I want. Is once I left, I was so worried about what are they doing now? Are they being bullied? Do they have food? Do they have clothes? This way, I keep those connections up. Sports, yes, it's through sports, but it's also about taking care of each other in a community, which I think is essential. Sports is a unifier, but then there can be offshoots from it.
So you taught many, many years, and I'm sure you encountered colleagues who go to work and go home. Like many of your colleagues probably go to work and go home. And maybe many of your colleagues say, oh geez, I don't want to be in a hard school. Let me put in my transfer as soon as possible. What do you think where did this come from inside of you that you stay in a school with such high needs and then you give so much of yourself? Where do you think that comes from?
I think it's just the connection. I grew up in Lower Lewisville, so there's Upper Lewisville, which is above the cemetery, and then there's Lower Lewisville, which we call Lower Lewisville because Upper Lewisville was bungalows and they had like real fences around their house. Okay. Lower Lewisville, it was all low, middle.
This is good to know as a realtor. I didn't know there was an Upper Lewisville and a Lower Lewisville. It's very helpful.
Only people from Lower Lewisville
know that. Okay.
Like if I say it to another person, they say, oh yeah, Mill Road or Story Road. And growing up, my dad was a traveling salesman, so from Monday to Friday, we had no car. And to get to sports or anything like that, it was on my bike, or back then, every community had a ball field or a rink. So the kids could bike there or they could walk there. Now, everything is centralized, right? There's no more of that community where we all go to the ball field tonight and it's all my friends and we'll go during the day and play. Now it's all at the sportsplex or the big community things where you're on a team, but you don't see those kids anymore. Like, you don't make those friends where, let's go after the game, let's go get an ice cream or someplace, because they're coming from all over Moncton.
Getting in their parents' car.
Right, and going. And there's not, when I was growing up, you knew everyone in the community, that neighborhood, because you all played on the same ball team or the same hockey team. And we've lost that. So by starting this, it's within walking distance, and I have 15 to 20 kids every night who just drop in to watch the game or referee or scorekeep or just be with their friends. And that's what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a safe place for the kids just to come. I don't care if they're on their phone for the whole hour. They're among friends. They're not on the roads. They're not at home where maybe it's not as safe, but at least every night they have some place to go and they know they won't be judged.
Wow. Okay, you said a word that I want to bring back because I have questions about that, and it started with a B. You said bike. Now, can you tell our audience, why am I asking you about bikes?
Oh, I have a second program, but I don't have the T-shirt yet, so I'll get one. It's called Bikes and Trikes for Everyone, and I've been running that for 11 years. It started just as a Forest Glen program because I was biking through Europe, And I had an email saying, look, a friend has a bike. Do you know anyone in the community who might need the bike? So I put out a few feelers, and it was like 30 kids needed bikes. So the next year I started asking for donations and that, and it went from one bike that first year. This is the 11th year. This year we've given out over 200 bikes to kids. Woo! Yeah, and they're all donated, or people give financial donations, and I buy the bikes through La Bikerie. So we have a partnership where they'll sell me a good chunk of bikes for a really good deal. And at the end of this year, they had 22 little kids' bikes that they couldn't get rid of, and they just donated it to the program. So wow. I already have a stockpile for next year. Wow. I just picked up one today because I had one little boy left on the list who needed a 20-inch bike, and I was able to give him one today. And it's all from a lot of new Canadians now. When I first started, it was a lot from the low-income areas, but the past 3 or 4 years, it's been a lot of new Canadians who left with absolutely nothing, like a suitcase, and when they are asked what they want, it was a bike for their kids and dolls, because that was the first thing. They didn't have anything. They didn't have, and everyone deserves a bike. Every little girl or boy deserves a doll. And by having that, one little guy, the dad sent me a picture of her biking down a hill for the first time. And he said that's the first time she smiled since they got here.
Oh my gosh.
I ended up crying. And that's with the program too. I had a mom. I'm gonna cry because I cry when I talk about this stuff. A mom came, she said, my boy always wanted to play soccer. We don't have the money, we don't have a car. She said, I can watch him play now. She said, I'm a soccer mom. I'm a soccer mom. And she had tears in her eyes. And another, last year, a little Ukrainian family signed up for the soccer program. And the dad said the little guy hasn't talked since he came here, cries, doesn't smile. He joined the program, and after the first game, the dad said, that's the first time he's played, he's laughing, he's got friends, and I'm thinking, it doesn't matter where you're from in the world, that's all you want for your kids. Be happy, safe, feel part of a community, you know, and if the program in any little way helps that, it's a win-win. Like, I don't mind giving all that.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna come back to this because I want everybody to know, I think every person in this room is like, how do we help? How do we help? But I was floating in my pool last night in my backyard talking about my new show with my grandmother and my aunt. And they said, well, who's going to be on your show? And I was like, well, my friend Derek, but you don't know him. And I'm like, you know Krista Richard? And my aunt perked right up and she goes, oh yeah, she's a ball player. She knew, no, they were not from Upper or Lower Lewisville. They were more from Lakeville. But my aunt grew up playing sports and was really, I don't think you know her, but was really excited to talk about your baseball careers. Can you tell us a little bit about your athletic background and maybe what brought you to care so much about this?
Well, sports saved me. And again, growing up back then, it was free. Everything was free. Like when I see today, there's no way my parents, I was on 4 provincial teams, and there is no way that I would have been able to play any of those, I know, in today's sporting, because registration, Jumpstart takes care of the registration, but a lot of parents are saying, yes, it takes care of the registration, but then they want us to go on 3 tournaments in a year. That's $1,000 a weekend. They want, well, let's everyone get a jacket and a toque. They don't, you know, you're deciding, and how can you say no to your child? But I had, you know, so many parents say, they want to play, even high school now, you have to pay to play high school sports. And I had a parents wanted to know if I could do anything financially for them because their daughter wanted to play rugby, and she said it's $300 for 4 games. And she said, and I have to buy the uniform. And then they want to go to the provincials. And she said, it breaks my heart, but I can't, we have to decide rent or rugby. And the daughter doesn't understand that because her friends are playing.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard when I see so many great kids, fantastic athletes, and I know they're only going to be going so far because of finances. And I find sports is becoming more for the elite.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got the money, then you can keep going. But those little kids from, like I said, Beechwood Auburn Circle are my best athletes, amazing athletes. But I know they've reached, once they hit high school, that's it. And if they would just be given a chance to show their talent, that's their gateway to university, to community college, to a job.
Their whole future,
Their whole future, and it's such a small investment where it should be, you want to play, play. You know, show your skills. But it shouldn't be, you've got the money, you've got the skills, you've got more skills, but you don't have the money. Well, I'm sorry. We have to take what, and I'm trying to make that the playing field, because when the first wave of new Canadians, the Syrians came, I was teaching at Forest Glen. And when they first came, there was a lot of, not bullying, but not acceptance yet. And they didn't feel part of anything. You know, they would come to school, they didn't have the language, they didn't know anyone. By joining the program, amazing athlete, especially soccer, I mean, they die for soccer. It helped them be part of the school, but it also, when you're the best player on a team, it's hard to bully you on the playground when you're the one scoring 4 goals for your team. So it helped them become part of that whole community.
Wow.
It made other kids look up to them saying, wow, yeah, you can't miss tonight, Muhammad, we got a game, you know? And it was so nice to see, and that confidence with them too, especially the girls. A lot of them weren't allowed to play before. And when they first started to play, they were a little hesitant, but by the 2nd, 3rd year, like I still remember one little girl, she was so quiet, never talked. First year she played, 2nd year, she hip checked a boy right into the wall who had been mean to her the day before, because I had seen it, and I went, you know, I gave her a penalty, but I went, good job, you know, and just to see that, and to see how proud they are, like they all played soccer, I knew that, but they want to sign up for everything. Like they asked to all be on the same team because they want to walk home together, and they want to play ball hockey. I said, you've never played ball hockey. I said, if I put you all on the same team, I said, the games aren't going to be close. No. So the first game they lost, I think 15-0. And they kept getting better and better, and they end up winning the gold medal. And against all these, because they didn't even know how to hold the hockey stick. All they knew was that was the ball, and they just kept, you know, 20. And the nicest part was the parents, the dads came to watch the final game.
Yeah.
And to see the girls just light up because their dad was there watching them play sports. And the dads were going onto the court, high five, cheering for both teams. And after we gave all the medals out, the parents came over, they said, can we stay for like 20 more minutes and just play as families? I said, yeah. So I took out a soccer ball and they just played. They just played. And I was, like I said, I was watching them and saying, doesn't matter where you come from. You're going to do whatever you can for your kids to make sure they're happy, safe, and feel part of that community. And I think the more we have the new Canadians come in, the more they're bringing so much more than we're giving to them. You know, that sense of family I find is very strong with them.
Amazing. Okay, so Krista, I'm like, some of my questions just don't fit anymore. Like that you're doing such important work. I'm like, I don't want to ask you what's the last logo purchase you made, you know. That seems so silly. But I do want to talk about our community of Moncton. So what does this community mean to you? What does Moncton look like for you? How does Moncton show up for you in your program?
I think that's I guess not a surprise, but when I ask for anything, because the program, I really want it to be a really community event. So I get non-perishable food items for the families, clothes, sneakers, tickets to the junior world hockey, we had those. Anything, health products. So if I put a call out there, it comes in. Like I'm expecting maybe a couple of book bags and I get 20. I'll ask for non-perishables. I want, a couple of cans of soup. I'll get boxes of it. I ask for sneakers. I'll say, okay, 2 or 3 pairs. I'll get, 40. Moncton is so great and has so many great people that I think it's important that, because I post all the time thanking everyone, and someone said, well, why do you do it so much? Because I said, I think it's important for people to know how many great people are in our community that always step up for others, and especially for kids and families in needs. Because we see a lot of negative, but there's so many good people out there, and companies and organizations that are willing to help. Like I went this morning and someone, well, do you have enough funds? I said, yeah, I'm good. Well, if you need anything, just let us know. We'll put something together. And that's what, to me, Moncton is about. And it's becoming such a multicultural community where the restaurants, the mosque, everything, I just find it makes it a welcoming place for everyone. And that was the big thing when the Syrians first came. The first year, 2 years, they moved. Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary. Now they're staying because they have roots now. They feel part of the community. I haven't had any families move out in 4 or 5 years. Wow. And I'll ask them, like, do you wanna go back to Syria? No, this is our home now. This is for the kids, their future for our kids. We might want to go home, but we're staying because our kids want to stay and they have a better future here. And I think that shows how much Moncton has grown over the years.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So how can Moncton show up for you?
I have 2 Facebook pages. I have the Community Sports Program page and the Bikes and Trikes for Everyone page. If you have a bike to donate, if you have non-perishables, if you go to Costco and you have an extra thing of craft dinner or ramen noodles, drop it off. If you're going through your closet and you have clothes that you don't need anymore, drop it off. Because I also give to the families, like the moms, the dads. Sometimes we forget about that when we're donating things. And baby clothes, it's not just about the kids in my program, it's about their whole family, which is what I want, because I have a little table in the hallway with all the donations, and I want it to be someplace where the parents can just go and take it and not feel like, oh, everyone's watching me, they're seeing me take, because I want it to be, you take what you need. If you need 20 cans of soup, take 20 cans of soup. And I don't want it to be where everyone's looking them to see what they're taking. So it's in the hallway. They can go right after the game, take what they need. They can drop off stuff. Like those, I always say those who have the least give the most, because I have families with absolutely nothing will give me a bike. I had a family this week who's being evicted, saying, look, we have no place to go. Do you want this leftover food that we have? They're moving up north, looking for a place, but they're good people. They have such good hearts that it's always the ones with least give the most.
Do we have any questions for Krista?
Just wondering, sports structure around you? Like, do you have a team of people helping you? Like, it sounds, this is a very big project or projects.
I'm going to repeat the question just for the audio, sorry. Krista, when it comes to your sports program, do you have a large team of people? It sounds like a lot to manage, big projects. Like, who do you have?
It's just me. Like, I coach. There was 19 basketball teams last year, so I coached all 19. I have volunteers for the hall monitors because we're at a school and we have to respect the school. So I have a couple of adults who watch the hallways, and then I had a couple of men help with basketball refereeing. But I coach all 19. I'm also very, how do you say that? It's my program, and I don't want anyone. It's my role.
I appreciate that about you.
Like, it's my vision. People say, well, why don't you move it here? We'll charge the families $10. I said, no. I said, that's not. There's absolutely no cost to it. And I said, if I move there and you're charging families, I said, then I'm moving back someplace else, because the district gives me the rental. They cover the insurance, because they also see the value of it in the community for the kids. You know, it's better to have 212 kids doing something at night than running the roads or doing something else. Mm-hmm. You know, so if you want to be a hall monitor, you can. If you know how to referee middle school soccer, you can, because some of those boys are way over my skill level. Like, right. They're just amazing. And they know I know nothing about that level, so they kind of try to get away with a lot of stuff. If I had someone who knew a little bit more, that might help.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're looking for soccer referees. All right.
For this one.
For this one. Any other questions for Krista?
You had mentioned real quick that you had a passion for working with seniors as well.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that work?
The question, I'm just going to repeat again, sorry. Can you talk a little bit about your passion for working with seniors that you had mentioned?
I deliver meals to seniors every Monday morning, so it's just one morning for an hour and a half, and it's still in my Forest Glen, Auburn Circle area, so I do a lot like at the Villa Heritage and Joyce Avenue. So when I volunteered, I said, can I have the families I know? And I find they trust me, so they'll say, look, I have no food, is there anything you can do? And for them to trust me enough makes it all worthwhile, because they're not embarrassed. They know it's a friend. I'm not going to judge them. And I think it's all about connections. The more you connect with people, don't judge them, don't care where they come from, what their background is, the more it becomes a community. Everyone is on the same playing field. We're all there, or we all should be there to help each other.
Amazing.
Regardless of what or where you come from.
I mean, yes. Everything, I want to put everything you said on pillows and t-shirts. And amazing. Any other questions before we wrap up with Krista? Yeah?
Everything you said was so wonderful, and I totally understand how it got derailed, but I am still curious about your baseball career.
We want to hear about your baseball career.
Well, I played for the Moncton Rebels for years. So I played provincial softball, Olympic handball, provincial broomball, and we were also the first girls hockey team in Lewisville Minor Hockey. So a long, long time ago, yeah.
And were you a goalie?
I was a goalie in hockey. I was a goalie at UMB in field hockey. I was a catcher for the Rebels, and I was a goalie for the Olympic handball team.
You know, my aunt knew that. Like,
What's
she's
her
a big
name?
fan. Her name's Tammy Fury, but
Oh, yes,
do you know
I know.
Tammy? Get out!
Yeah.
Get out! Oh, I wish she was here. No, she said she was a goalie and she was a catcher, and I was like, I was very surprised.
Yeah. The Moncton Rebels, the senior women's out of Kelly Field.
There you go.
Which is another reason this program, because Kelly Field was my safe place. I biked there every night to watch the doubleheaders, Monday to Saturday tournaments, work the score clock. Mr. Kelly would give me a Kelly dog. I don't know if anyone ever went to Kelly Field, but they were like probably there for 6 days.
Wow.
But you'd get a free Kelly dog.
Okay.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
and every night I'd bike there, and it was my safe place. And the same thing, all the players became family. You know, all the men, all the women. It was just, you were safe there. I remember one night it was like pouring down rain all night, and I got on my bike, and Mom said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Kelly Field." She said, "There's not going to be any games at Kelly Field. It's been raining, pouring." I said, "But it doesn't rain at Kelly Field." So I get there, and of course there was no games, but there was one car in the parking lot, and it was Mr. Kelly. And he stayed because he knew I was going to show up, put my bike in his car, and he drove me home. Because that, again, is family, right? Family through sports.
It just, you know, in a world where people have all kinds of things to say about how the world is now and how kids are on phones and the way things are going, I'm just completely struck by the way you seem to have slowed everybody down and gotten them to tune in, you know, where everybody else is just so tuned out. And I'm going to leave this conversation different for sure. So thank you so much. Everybody, thank you to Krista. Now that we've met in Moncton, let's get to know each other a little bit better. You can join us and our crew and our guests at our exclusive Facebook community. Just go to Facebook and search Meet Me in Moncton Insiders.